Hello, welcome to Thursday Night Readings, friends. I hope you had a lovely Christmas if you celebrate, a lovely restful festive period if you don't. I had a lovely time. I'm finally feeling better. I've had weeks and weeks on and off of feeling unwell or having colds. I've still got a really sore throat, but generally I'm mostly back to normal now, thank goodness. So tonight I've just come by myself for some low-key, quiet reading sprints. And writing sprints, or whatever you want sprints. I'm probably going to do 2, if not 3, depending on how my voice holds out. And I'm mostly going to be editing Mina and the Cult. This is the printed out copy. It is reading really well. I'm really happy with it. I'm on the last few chapters. So after I've done this read through, I tend to edit by hand. I always print out this stage because this is when it looks like a book, so I like to see it in book form. So I'm just making edits by hand, and then I need to type those edits up. And then the proofreader's edit should be coming, so it's all coming together. So in the next couple of weeks, hopefully I'll be done and I'll be moving on to working on something different. Thank you. I did have a lovely Christmas, as I mentioned. Definitely some much needed time off. The Science of Vampires sounds so interesting. I don't think I have that one. Is that referring to that book? I have made a lot for vampire books in the past. Maybe not quite that much. Hi, Kasha. I hope you're okay. Hi. Hello. I did, thank you. I hope you did. I feel like between September and December, I worked on 3 different books, if you can, promoting the Taste of Darkness anthology. So I kind of alternated from promoting one book to editing 2 others, and that's just been on repeat all the way to December. I've also been doing some freelance writing and still doing my day job, so it's just, there's no wonder that I've been ill, is it really? It's been non-stop. So I managed to do quite a bit of reading. I'm reading a really good book, which I don't have to hand because I've left it upstairs, but highly recommend All These Hidden Monsters, I think it's called. I'm going to have to go and get it in the sprint. I need to check what it's called, but it's like a cozy crime YA romantasy by Amy Jordan. It comes out in, I think, April or May next year, but it is amazing. It's got werewolves and magic, and it feels a bit like Legends and Lattes, but with murder. It feels cozy, but with crime stuff too. And I'm also reading this chunk of a book, Christmas and Other Horrors. It's a short story anthology. The first few stories have been really good, in my opinion. One of them wasn't my favourite, but most of them have been really strong. It's got a story by Christopher Golden and Alma Katsu near the beginning, both of which I really enjoyed. So I'm trying to read 1 or 2 of these a day. So I'm probably going to read another one of these tonight and finish Mina, and I may grab my laptop if I've got time to start typing up my notes. Ooh, that's a YA book club pick. I can't wait to hear what you think of it. I'm about 3/4 of the way through it. I need to finish reading that. I'm trying not to make the mistake that I normally do. I sometimes read a book for the YA book club too early in the month, and I can't remember what happened in it, so I'm trying to kind of eke it out until the end of the month this time. We'll be doing the live stream for that, I think not this weekend, but the weekend after, so there's still time if you want to read it. It is a Secret Santa style book where a girl gets a present on every day of December, and they are increasingly sinister. I can feel my voice is going, so I think it's a really good time to go for a sprint. I'm going to go and grab that book too so I can show you it. And try and get some Mina reading done. I'm also rereading Save the Cat, so you may see me juggling lots of different things tonight. I'm reading it because I'm going to be plotting something new early next year, and I'm going to experiment with being a bit more of a plotter because I'm generally a mixture of a plotter and a pantser. So I'm on the chapter about characters at the beginning, which is really good. I did read this before, but I've never used the plotting technique in it just because I like to do my own thing with plotting. So I may try this. I may just take some good stuff from it rather than using the whole thing. So I'm just going to grab Mina. I will disappear at some point to go and grab that book to show you. Let's just see. Excellent. Yes, we're reading Catch Your Death by Ravina Guran in January. I did the same thing. I was thinking about what books we could read, and that was last wintry on my TBR pile, apart from Christmas and Other Horrors, and I thought it sounded like a nice read that the way book club would enjoy. I really liked Ravina's other book. The voice is not sounding good, so there may be 2 sprints tonight. We'll see how we go. So this one's going to 40 minutes. I'll come back and chat in between briefly. We'll do another 40 minutes, and then I'll see how we get on after that. So let me pop the timer up. Let me know how you're getting on in the comments, and I'll see you. Hello. Probably just hear a little voice in the background. I'm just talking, darling, okay? You're not allowed to come on the screen now. Stay with Daddy. So we have a little person who came down during that. We've also got Sharon. How are
Hello.
you?
I'm fine. I'm sorry I missed your message the first time,
Oh, it's
darling.
all
I was
right.
making tea.
I just lost track of what day it was because it's that period between Christmas and New Year where everything just feels quite dreamy and sort of not connected with the
Betwixtmas.
real world. Yes.
Betwixtmas is called. So it's like a 5-day long day, isn't it? You're not
Yeah.
sure what day it is. So we're in limbo.
Did you have a nice Christmas?
I did, thank you. Yes, did you?
Yeah, lovely, thank you. We had a very excited little person in our house. We had lots of nice
Oh,
presents, and yeah, it was just really fun.
he's a bit
He's
older
nearly,
now, isn't he? So he
yeah,
gets it a bit more.
yeah, nearly 4 is a very nice age for Christmas, definitely. And I've been doing some reading, which is nice because I feel like my
Me
reading's been
too.
sorely neglected this year, really, this last few months certainly, and I've been enjoying this one. I think you'd like Christmas and Other Horrors.
I had it for Christmas. My husband bought it
Oh,
me for
yay!
Christmas. Yeah. So I'm going to start that at some point. Yeah, it looks really good.
Yeah, I've been assembling my pile of books that I enjoyed the most in 2023, and considering how little adult fiction I read, a lot of them were adult books. So this, I'm going to kind of use this to find some authors and get some books ordered because it's funny, isn't it? How YA is still my favourite, but I'm just being drawn. I think I'm finding what adult fiction I like now. Like I'm finding the slashers that I enjoy and the book written by female authors who have a slightly different perspective, I think. So yeah, it's all good. What were you reading during that sprint? Oh, I keep seeing this everywhere. I would have got it if I'd got my finger out. I'll try and read that for next year. How is it so far?
It's really good. It's a slasher. It's basically about this legend of a house where a family have died. They burnt to death basically. But there's this legend that they're actually killed by a character called Candy Cane. And
Oh,
yeah, and Brian, bless him, he was on Shelley's discussion for the Tales Boy Horror the other day.
oh yeah.
And the guy, and he's got Candy Canes 2 coming out next Christmas.
Oh,
But
amazing.
it's a proper 90s. It's like it is a very nostalgic slasher. It is brutal, but it's great fun.
I can
My
cope
friend Amelia bought me this, yeah, for
if
Christmas.
it's like the gore type of brutal. I can cope with that. Maybe I'll get both books next year. I'll pre-order the second one and I'll try and read the first one in the run
Yeah,
up to Christmas.
the family in it are kind of they're like a typical family falling apart. You know what I mean? And but yeah, yeah, there's only been one kill so far, but it was pretty brutal. But yeah, that's fun for me, isn't it? So
Yeah, that sounds very festive. Anyway. I don't know whether you saw Stephen's question. Have you heard of Stories of the Occult by Jamie King? I don't think I
no,
have. Sounds
I don't
interesting.
think I have. I'll
Or
have a look
anybody
at
else
that.
heard of
Thank
it?
you. Stories of the occult. Hi, Akasha.
Hi, sorry, I'm being distracted by a tiny little person. Kev just put the video of me on, and Nathan saying hello to the video version of me.
Oh,
The prior bit
see,
different because
that's
Kev didn't
cute.
get to watch it because he was upstairs. Oh, I thought you would, Kasha. That seems like a very you
Yes.
book.
Yeah, I'm not far in it, Cash. Actually, I've only just. There's only just been the first kill, really. So, yeah, I love M.R. James. He's one of my favourites of the Victorian Edwardian Gothic horror writers. His ghost
Ooh,
stories are some of the best that were ever written.
oh really? I don't
Yeah,
think I
he's
have,
one
you
of my
know.
favourite authors. If you read any of his books, you'll recognise some of them. They've been filmed on everything, but yeah, he's one of my favourites. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Because that's one of my things I want to do this year. Read some more Gothic fiction. I've got a few things lined up.
I've got
I've
some
got what?
recommendations. One of the best Gothic fiction is Sheridan Le Fanu, who was contemporary with Poe,
Yes.
but his books are darker and far more disturbing. His
Well,
stories.
I loved Carmilla. I didn't realize he was a man actually when I read that. I thought he did the female characters very,
He
very
really
well.
did. He really
I thought
did.
it was Sheridan like a woman. I was thinking like Sheridan Smith, you know, like
Yeah.
from 2 Pints of Lager and Legally Blonde.
He
Um,
wrote an anthology called Through a Glass Darkly. It's in 3 parts, and it's exceptional. It's one of my favourite. So M.R. James and E.F. Benson, those are the most famous, along with Charles Dickens, of course. The Signalman is still the single most scariest ghost story I've ever read.
really, I haven't read
And
that one.
Yeah, love it. Love it.
Is it a short
Yeah,
story?
short story.
I can probably
So
find
yeah,
that then.
I've got loads. I must do a video on it at some point on
Yeah,
YouTube.
do please. I'll be
I've got
bookmarking
masses
everyone.
of gothic fiction. It's one of my favourite genres. Yeah.
Yeah, Gav did one, which I don't know whether it was all gothic or whether some of it was gothic. It might have been all classic, and I bookmarked that one as well and got quite a few recommendations because I'd never read The Monk, which he really rated. So I ordered that, and I ordered quite a few things.
There's some
So I
good
do.
women. There wasn't as many because it was
Yeah,
harder for women to be writers in those days. But there's some really, really excellent female gothic writers as well from that era.
awesome. We maybe
So
need to swap, Sharon. I'll collab with you on that. I'm going to try and read some next year.
yeah.
So Rune by Christopher Fowler, just reread for fans of M.R. James. One Night Curse, 1957 film of the Demon, first in Brian and May.
Yeah.
I haven't read those either. You come up with some good recommendations, Adrian. I've been so bad at actually reading stuff recommended to me this year, just because I keep getting I get sent proofs of books every now and again. So that's basically all I'm reading at the moment. Because I'm just trying to stay ahead of books before they come out.
Do you know, I had 6 arcs that I knew were due from January to March, and they all came in the week before Christmas, and they were all exceptional. So, but they all are, including the second European Halls, which is a proper 90s slasher. But the one I read yesterday was Mean Spirited by Nick Roberts, who wrote Exorcist House and Anathema, and that is terrifying, marvelous.
Yeah, I had a few requests. I read mine are all YA requests. I read Lie or Die, which was a really good YA, like closed trapped room sort of thriller.
Oh, I love them kind of things.
I read Over Emotional Overthinking, which Overthinking comes out next year, and they are so good. They're kids with superpowers, but just with a really like Ashley O'Loughlin's book, sort of lots of exciting action-packed things happen, but just a really cozy, lovely group of friends and relationships between them. And then what else did I read? Oh, I got All These Hidden Monsters, I think it's called, by Amy Jordan, which is her debut, that werewolf book that I was reading the other day. So yeah, I had a similar thing, like in the few weeks before Christmas, suddenly all these books arrived. So I'd said, oh yeah, I'll read that. No.
Shh.
It's all right, we've all got family cameos tonight.
The husband shouting at the cat.
They're no different, big and little boys having a chat in the background. They don't change, do they?
European Halls is YA, but the other stuff I read is all indie horror.
That's on my list.
Yeah, so it's but what's the one you've just put on Instagram? The 12 Days of Chris Murder.
Oh yeah,
I've just had that come today because it was in the Waterstone sale.
Oh, was it? Yeah, I ordered it.
8 or 9 quid. So hardback. So I had that come to because I only ordered like 5 from Waterstones, which is pretty, because I had 14 books for Christmas. So I thought I better limit myself.
I tried to be good. I haven't looked at the sale just because I've piled up the books that I wanted to read in January, and it's ended up being enough for January and February. And I thought I can't buy any more books. I've literally got them coming out of my ears. Every shelf is double piled up.
And then, do you know, we in the Tales Point Horror Book Club, Amy, we read the first Christopher Pike.
Oh yeah.
I wasn't sure about it, but everybody at the discussion said you've got to try this one and this one. So I ordered 7. 5 of them have come today. Your corruptive influences you and Shelley.
I know,
you know that. You're enablers. That's what you are.
I didn't read much Pike. So, you missed Point Horror in the 90s. I somehow missed Christopher Pike completely. So I haven't had a chance to read any with Shelley this year. I know she's done a couple, but I need to get hold of some. I'm just not, some of them, I'm not keen on the idea. Is it the Midnight Club? I want to say the Midnight Game, but that's Cynthia's book, I think. The Midnight Club. Sounds too sad.
Yeah. It is sad, but it is sad. But I didn't find that particularly scary. The one we read last month, Slumber Party, I thought was weird. They were all hateful. But everybody was on the discussion are big Pike fans, and they all recommended these as the best he's written. So I thought they were like £2 each from eBay. Can't knock it, can you?
Yeah. Okay, well, let me know which ones you like, and I'll try and dip my toes because I've been planning to do that Yeah,
All
sorry,
of it.
Libby. I end up going on a tangent from your
Yeah,
what you were
sorry, love.
saying. I know that feeling. I haven't been so much slumpy as writing, and I think that when I'm really busy writing, I can't seem to do both things at the same time. I can read. It does. Some authors don't read all when they're writing because they don't want it to dilute the voice. That doesn't happen to me. I just don't have time. That sounds like a good time to turn it around. Passing Playbook I haven't heard of. That sounds interesting. M.R. James
Yeah,
Casting
yeah,
inspiration.
Casting the Runes is fabulous. Yeah.
Oh, so that's the one that you're reading, Stephen. The let me go back to the name of it. Stories of the Occult. I need to look into that because after you talk about the occult the other day, I was doing a bit of googling, like what actually is the occult. You saw those things, like I know what it is, but I'm quite interested, and I know that quite a few authors that I like have delved into it, so I need to do a bit more reading, I think.
Yeah.
There's a person here that I'm going to try to get to bed, so I'm going to do another sprint. I think now that Sharon's here, I was debating whether to do 1 or 2 more sprints. I think I will do 2 more so we can chat. So I'll definitely do a 40-minute one, and probably the last one will be 30 minutes. So I'll put timer on. I will disappear because I am going to go upstairs for a little while. But I'll be back.
I'm going to grab a cup of
See
tea. But yeah.
Hello. Oh, I lost Sharon. Sorry, I didn't realise I'd lost you.
StreamYard threw me out. It went, no, go away.
You're back, and we know it
That's fine.
has a tendency of doing this, doesn't it? So I managed to get the little person in bed and then ended up playing Disney Dreamlight Valley, which I got for Christmas, and I'm really enjoying, actually. It's been a lovely way to switch my brain off since Christmas. I've just been playing that like an hour a day, and it's so relaxing.
There's a lot of I don't game at all, but a lot of my bookish friends love gaming. They find it as like you say, as a real way to disconnect.
It's very immersive in the same way that reading is, and I tend to gravitate. I like the relaxing, soothing things like plant a seed, harvest a flower type thing. I also really like the storytelling side of it. Like, I just find it another way to consume stories. And this game is definitely, it's high stakes in terms of like Dreamlight Valley needs your help, but it's low stakes in terms of nobody's, it's not life or death. People have just forgotten who they are, and you have to remind them. It's very lovely.
I used to like the brain ones when you had like quizzes and you used to go through like scenarios and do quizzes and solve puzzles. I like those ones, but I don't play anymore.
On my DS, I loved that, and
yeah,
I
so
loved
did
trying
I.
to train my brain down.
Yeah,
Do the different
I love them too. But yeah, I don't anymore. I don't think I've got the. I just don't. My husband does. My husband likes gaming, but no.
Never rule it out. It might be one of those things you decide to give it a go, but I think you've also got plenty of other things to do with your time.
I've got too many books to read, Amy. I've got too many books.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? It's just.
How did you get on with your book in that one?
Yeah, it's really good. I've nearly finished it. I mean, it's only a short book anyway. It's only, was it? Oh God, like 160. It's like a novella, really. So yeah, I'm they're dying at a rate of knots now.
Yeah, to pack it into that few pages. That's what did I read? Not the Cotton Candy Massacre, the other one that's got a similar title.
Taste Like Candy.
Taste Like Candy. Yeah, that one's like that, isn't it? Where it took a while to get to the first death, and I thought, this book's only 200 pages long. Like, when are they going to start dying? And then, oh my goodness, they just do one after the other.
Well, this one starts with a death. I mean, the opening chapter is a death. And then there's a little bit of a reprieve while everything gets set up, and now they're all dropping like flies.
It's like things like Scream, isn't it? This is what you're in for, but we're just going to let you get to know the characters and care before we rip them away from you.
It's proper good fun. I love stuff like that.
I was trying to find that Europa Hall that you mentioned during the sprint. Yeah. What's the author's name? Can you remember?
Alan Shivers.
Alan Shivers, because I put it in and I couldn't find it. And I'm like, I think I've probably spelled Europa wrong. I was trying.
Yeah, it's Europe. It's Europea. So it's basically European without the N on the end. Oh. The first one's already out. Actually, the first one is my new book club's February read.
Oh, is it? Brilliant.
It's on Kindle Unlimited. All of his books are on Kindle Unlimited. And
I'll try and catch up with that.
But yeah, I arc read for him. His name's actually McCaw, but his pseudonym is Alan Shivers.
It's a good.
And he's Belgian. Yeah.
I like that.
So the representation's really good in his books because
cool.
Obviously he's a gay man himself. So yeah.
Oh, that's good to know. That sounds good.
Stuff like that.
I love stories from the world. Well done, Libby. I hope you're finding your desire to read again. I know what that feels like definitely this year, and I've read some really good books at good points, that have pulled me back into it. Did you end up reading C.J. Tudor's, Sharon?
I loved it. I do love a writing though, and it really flows really well, and I loved her take on vampires. It was really interesting, really different, and it was a great story. I thought.
Do you know what? She reminds me of a YA author, but writing for adults. There's something about it that pulls me forward like YA does with her writing. I think it's the pacing and the way she sort of leaves you with little crumbs that you want to pick up in the next chapter. And I liked, without saying too much, the different perspectives of characters that you got to delve into some very strange and disturbing little lives. And then you've got this main character who's trying to do the right thing, but you also got to see the darkness in the society.
Yeah,
So yeah,
and
I
she's
thought
not
it was really
scared to go
good.
into the darkness either. I think,
Yeah,
you know, some of it is it's very difficult read, isn't it? Some of it,
yeah.
but she handles it really well.
That's the kind of
Must,
adult that I can cope with. It goes to
yeah.
some dark places, but I still felt like my sanity was preserved and safe. It didn't pull me in with it, if that makes sense. I think that's why I struggle with horror. If I get pulled too much into it, I can't cope with it.
The Other People is still my favourite by her, which is another one you won't read because of the
Yeah.
kidnapped child. Although, you know,
It
it is a bloody good book. But my second favourite is The Drift, which I
Yeah,
absolutely
that's in
loved,
my pile.
mainly because of there's three different settings, and the way she plays with that, so clever.
Have you
So
read her
clever. And
short
when I got to the end and
stories?
realised what
Yeah.
happened, I was
Yeah.
like, I never saw it coming. And that's
Oh,
really
brilliant.
unusual for me. It's a brilliant book, and it is really cold. It makes you feel cold, like The
Yeah.
Gathering did. You know, it makes you feel cold.
I'm going to try and read it in January or February. I don't think I put it on my I've just assembled my January TBR pile. And like I said, I panicked a bit because there are too many books on it. So I think I might have
But
nudged
you're
it
not
into
writing or
February.
editing at the moment, are you? So you got a bit more time.
Yeah, I'm just doing that gentle final Mina edit, which feels less fraught because there's nothing big to move around now. As you'll know, when
Yeah.
you do your beta reading, I'm not at that point where I'm thinking, oh, there are big issues. It's
No.
just little things like, oh, I could have worded that slightly better. I've repeated that word. It's very small and deliberate. It could almost be printed now and it will be okay, but I won't. I'll still be doing it right up until the last
It's a
bit. That's just what I
story. You
do.
can see it as an actual
Yeah,
book now, though. Yeah.
exactly. I
I
can.
mean, I do edit for a couple of indie authors,
Yeah.
but you know, and it is very different. You know, their books are differently structured because there's a little bit more freedom in independent publishing. You don't, you know, you can basically print anything you want. So it's just about having that kind of, you know, sensitivity to some things that might not be appropriate. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's definitely helpful in horror because there is a line, isn't there?
Yeah.
And I think just how readable it is and does it flow, like you said with CJ Tudor's writing, you want the reader to stay in that story and to be able to follow it, even if things are jumping around and being experimental, you want it to work. Sorry, Kev's flicking through films to watch, and every now and again one is catching my attention. I'm like, ooh, what's that? Ooh, what's that?
I'll tell you what about The Gathering, though. I was a bit of a shame they didn't use the ARC copy cover, because I really like the cover of the ARC.
Yeah, I haven't actually seen the finished cover, but yeah, the
And
art's beautiful. Although I kept
it's a
wanting to call
different
it Dead
cover for the
Heart.
ARC for the
Um,
main book, which I think is a shame because I quite like the cover. But
It's very subtle, isn't it? But I could tell it was vampires as soon as I saw it. That's why I requested
yeah,
it, because I was just like, I need
yeah,
CJ Tudor writing a vampire book. I love the fact that she's sort of dipped her toes in the supernatural and like, is it, isn't it supernatural? But this one just fully went there, and I really like that. Like, I like a world where vampires are real. I think is always quite a bold choice.
and they felt very real, didn't they? They felt part of outside of the community, but part of the reality.
Yeah,
It felt completely normal that they existed, and I think
yeah,
that was really clever the way she did that. It was like
yeah,
they were
because
just different humans. Do you
yeah,
know what I
they
mean?
were.
It's just yeah,
You know that like say 28 Days Later and like The Walking
yeah,
Dead, I quite like it when we already know that the world starts and like people in the world already know about the creature that's there.
yeah,
I always think that that's interesting, like seeing what the aftermath is, because quite
yeah.
often, like say in my book, the characters find out that vampires are real, but it's secret. And I always find it interesting. I think I'll probably write one at some point where it's already out there, and what would
They
that look
already
like?
exist, you know. True Blood to a certain degree is like that, isn't it?
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Some people aren't aware, but most people are aware they exist,
Yeah, and
and
I think
I like that.
other creatures like are revealed during the course of it, aren't they? Even more so in the books. I think there's
Yeah,
this push and pull of like, will these other creatures, will we find out what they are? Like,
yeah.
will the public find out about them?
I haven't even done January yet because I keep seeing videos all. I was on TikTok and Instagram this afternoon, just scrolling mindlessly like you do sometimes, and everybody's doing wrap up videos, and I'm like, there's like 4 days left of December yet. I could read another 6 books in 4 days. Do you know what I mean? I can't wrap up yet. I haven't got to the end of
Yeah,
the month.
I'm the same. I'm doing it this weekend.
Yeah,
Probably
me
on the
too. I'll probably do it on
31st.
Saturday.
Yeah, I can't. because yeah, like you said, I like CJ Tudor's book is one that I've read only this month, and it's probably one of my favourites of the year. And I'm really enjoying reading Amy Jordan's books, which I still left upstairs. And I'll probably finish it just before the end of the year, and that could be one of my favourite YAs that I've read this year, because it just feels really fresh and fun and different, and that's what I'm craving now. I think sometimes I go through a pattern of thinking I want to read a thriller where I'm just I know what I'm going to get. I'm now craving different and strange and quirky, so I think that's my vibe for my January TBR pile. Definitely is that it's a real mixed bag of strange quirky stuff.
Mine's I don't know what mine is really. I haven't really thought about it. Better watch out. You better.
Yes.
I really enjoyed that book, by the way.
Oh, good. I'm kind of eking it out so that I can remember what happened, because I keep making the mistake of reading them too early. I maybe need to go back to that, reading a bit a week and then finishing with yeah, it's different. I'll explain in full when we talk about it. It's not my typical type of thriller, because it does delve into those dark, uncomfortable places more than I'm comfortable with. But I know lots of people like online I've seen saying that is what they crave. So it's interesting, because I'm kind of reading it thinking I see the appeal of this, like I see the appeal of the darkness.
I just found it. I found it really frustrating. I just was like, oh, for God's sake, just pull yourself together. What's wrong with you?
Stop going into the abandoned
Stop going in. What are you doing? And I understood when certain reasons why she went in. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone.
Yeah.
But sometimes I was just like, just ignore it, love. What's going on? But yeah, that was I really I thought that was a good twist too. I enjoyed that. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, I need to make sure I remember to finish that, because I've thought to myself, I'm going to leave the ending and read that, but then I need to make sure I actually do it before the live.
I think there's only been one book I didn't enjoy.
Oh, really? Which one was that?
The one that was on the Titanic.
Oh yeah, the I can't remember what it's called.
One in a Million.
Yes, that's the one. Kept saying it in my ear as well. Yeah, I think was that the one that the club voted for? I can't remember, but yeah, it isn't normally something that I would pick up, but I did enjoy it.
I like the different women, but I found the romantic side of it, that's not for me.
Yeah,
and I found it being on a Titanic being a bit kind of meh, you know. So yeah, that's the only one I haven't enjoyed. The others I've enjoyed more or less, some lot. But that's the only one I didn't. I think that's pretty good odds, 11 out of 12.
Yeah, I think that's really good.
That's pretty good, isn't it?
People in the club seem to be leaning more towards, and maybe it's because I gravitate towards certain kind of people and them
horror
to me.
Thrillers.
Yeah, horror thrillers. So in February, I'm going for a bit of a mixture. I've already picked a couple of the books, so I'm going to throw in a couple of fantasy there, a couple of thrillers, a couple of horror, just to see what people still go for. But I think apart from that, I'm going to lean into what I like, because it seems to be the months where it's books I really want to read are the ones that people engage with a lot. So,
and I think you do kind of, I think people gravitate towards you, right? So or the people who gravitate towards it, the people who like those kind of books.
Yeah,
and I think the majority of people in the club, in your book club, like horror thrillers and like YA horror or YA mysteries. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I think so too. I've enjoyed them.
And I think some months I'm going to do the same. I'm going to pick a book for some months, and then others I'm going to let people vote. Because I think people
I'm picking for mine. Yeah, I'm picking for mine mainly because that's what everybody wanted. Because I know indie horror better, so like it's best if you pick them because you know the arena.
Well, that's the thing.
A lot of people have joined mine. I've never read really indie horror before.
Well, I want to read more of it, so that's why I think what I'm going to do with yours is read what the book is about that month and decide if it's one for me or not. Definitely the February one is. I haven't looked.
I'll tell you something. The March one, which is Beta by Sammy Scott, is this most terrifying AI book I've ever read.
Oh, really?
It's absolutely fantastic, but it is not horror. It is thriller, unsettling.
But AI scares me anyway.
Yeah,
like
me too.
Even the basic application in inverted commas. Like my friend was saying that her son, they do things at his work, like they ask it to make presentations for them, but they put company information in to get it to
ChatGPT. Yeah, we use it at work. It's terrifying.
Yeah, and I find that really strange that people are feeding it their proprietary information to get it to do stuff for them, and then it owns that and it has that and it can. I mean, I just think that at the moment, to me, the negative applications scare
I
me, and I
agree.
think that the lack of policing is scary,
Has nobody watched The
especially for artists.
Matrix? Has nobody watched The Matrix?
Well,
The
this is
machines
it.
take over.
I
Don't
know
give them the ammunition.
Terminator and the Matrix have taught some
Exactly.
people nothing. So
It's a
yeah,
really
and
good book.
I worry
Yeah.
about artists and creatives, myself included, that our people are going to come to a point where they think that AI can write stuff, do all the artwork.
And it's terrible. I mean, there's a fun aspect to it. Like, you can make cartoon characters of yourself, and I get that
Yeah,
kind of this fun part. But you shouldn't be taking work away from actual creative people. I would not. I would buy that kind of art. I wouldn't make it and get it for free, right?
yeah,
So,
and
yeah, I find that a bit weird. And
because to
certainly
me the whole
writing,
art, it's the love of the person who did it. So if they've done some fan art or something of a character, they've done
yeah,
that because a real person loves that character and they've poured
yeah,
their creativity in. And for somebody else to steal it's essentially stealing composites of
yeah,
people's
somebody
imagery.
else's work. And
Yes.
I mean, with writing, I think you can tell.
Yeah.
We use it at work. Chat GPT, I think, is called, where you can do presentations. It'll take your information and turn it into a presentation. But I think you can tell.
Mm.
You can tell when a real person's written it and when a computer program has written it. It feels different. It feels completely different
Yeah, I read
to
a
me, anyway.
fantasy. I read a fantasy scene that somebody had posted online saying that this is what Chat GBT does when you say, "Right, I've seen for a fantasy book," and it was eerily close to good, but not. It felt very soulless, and it did feel robotic.
There's
The
a
writing
strange,
style.
there's a strange feeling to it.
Mm,
It doesn't feel. There's no emotion to it. It's
no.
emotionless. And whereas when I read a book somebody's written, an author's written, I can feel the emotion of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's
The
hope
heart
that
of
this
it. Yeah,
continues, that it gets policed really well and used only for
hope so.
good instead of the
Hope so.
negatives. So yeah, I may read that one. I may skip that one because it might make me cry, Sharon. So we'll see. I need to look in. What's the name of your January one?
It's called Echoes of Home. It's by a lovely English indie author. I've got to arrange an interview with him actually. Matt. He's a very funny man. Here it is. Echoes of Home. M.L. Rayner.
Cool. Yeah, I
It's a
found it.
ghost story. It's an old-fashioned ghost story.
Yeah, that sounds more my kind of thing.
It's not too scary. His books aren't too scary. So, and he's a really nice guy. So
That
I
sounds
need
like a nice
to.
one to start with.
Yeah, I need to do. I seem to have taught myself into doing author interviews every month with the authors, which I've never done before.
I've started doing that actually. It's just come about organically. A few
Yeah,
authors have asked if they could come on, or other publishers have asked me.
exactly.
And I mean, if you want to chat to me about how I structure questions, and I can send you some
That
of
would be
the
fantastic.
sequences I've sent, because I tend to follow a fairly blanket pattern, and then I personalize as well. But yeah, remind me,
Yeah,
and I'll drop you over some of the. In fact, you've probably got some of the ones that I've done for the book club, but I've got some author ones as well
it's
that I
just
can
like
send.
I'm not an author, so I can ask them. The questions I would ask as a reader, but
Yeah,
I'm not an
exactly.
author, and I think it'd be nice to have that kind of aspect too. And they both asked. In fact, the one me and Alan are doing is on Valentine's Day because nothing says slasher like Valentine's Day, does
Well,
it?
exactly.
And bless him. And we're probably going to do it on StreamYard. I think it's easier to do it, and then post across cross post. But yeah, but the Discord's fun.
I don't really understand Discord. I've been invited to various ones over the years, and my brain doesn't work in those little folders, so I can't. I just don't
I've made it
engage.
very simple. I've got one folder where everybody chats,
Yeah.
and then there's a folder for each month.
Oh, okay, that's not
That's
too
it. But there's a nice group of people in there. We had a good chat over Christmas because a couple of them were on their own, and I just didn't want to make sure they were okay. Nice group of ladies. No men yet. Perhaps they're keeping away. It was scary.
I don't believe that for a second. The books are scary, but you know, we are not.
But yeah, the key is that all of them are on Kindle Unlimited. But if you want a physical copy, obviously you can get one. But
Yeah.
that's the idea, really, and to maybe promote a few indie authors.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So, are you happy to do another 40-minute one? Because it's not too late. I'm thinking, and it's,
I do need to get
hopefully
a cup of tea.
it's
Yes, absolutely,
yes.
darling. I'm
Go
off
and get a cup of tea.
work. I'm off work for like ever here. It feels like I've been off for weeks.
Yeah, it does me too. I'm not back till I think the 8th of January, so I'm quite happy about that.
I'm
Having a
back in the
really good.
2nd, but that seems like ages away. I'm not even sure what
It
day
is.
it is.
It's lovely. And I only know it's Thursday because we're doing a sprint, and I said
Yeah,
it at the beginning, but
yeah. It's weird, isn't it?
it's very weird. Right, let's do this 40-minute sprint. We'll catch up at the other end. This will be
Yeah. I'm gonna grab a cup of tea. Oh, I'm taking
this
my
will be the
camera
last one. That's what I was trying to say before I mute myself. See you all in a bit.
with
Hello.
Hello.
How did you get on?
Finished that. Started another one.
Oh, how was it?
It's really good. It reads like a I don't know if it is YA, Amy. I don't think it is, but it reads kind of like Goosebumps for grown-ups. And
Oh,
it
that sounds
actually
good.
says that on the back. I've just put that on my review and then realised it's already on the back, so I can't use
Oh,
it. But that's what it reads like. It reads like, a Goosebumps book, but I mean the horror's not YA, I don't think.
no.
The kills are quite gruesome, but it's a great fun read. It's really fun. And the family is so dysfunctional. It's really good fun.
I've seen it a lot
Absolutely
of
loved it.
places. On YouTube, Instagram, it kind of seems to be everywhere, which is lovely, isn't it, for an indie author to see them getting some really good coverage on social media.
I think I saw Kasha read. I don't know if Kasha's still there,
Mm.
but she was reading it and she was loving it. So I'm pretty much sure that if she loves something, I'm gonna love it if it's horror
Yeah, I
because we have
think so.
very similar tastes.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's great fun. I think you'd enjoy it.
Yeah, I think it's definitely on my list for next year. I think I've maybe slightly missed the boat. Like this year, I feel like I'm not going to start anything new Christmassy. Like I'm still reading Andrina's, but yeah, I
Yeah.
think apart from that, and that doesn't feel super Christmassy. It feels more wintry once you get past a certain point of it. Excellent. Got to page 212. Yes, it is adult. And Kasha did love it, so that's good. You know each other well, Sharon. At this point. Oh, Sharon's muting herself. Sorry, you having a camera moment? Oh, we've lost Sharon for a sec.
I'm
You're
back.
back.
I'm in technical issues. My speaker just decided to. My microphone just decided to stop.
Oh, the joy. I'm not sure I'm next doing one of these because of kind of New Year and stuff. So I will post about it. Kev's telling me when am I doing it? Oh, Saturday. I'm doing one on Saturday. So if anybody wants to pop along for that, that would be lovely. It's been very nice tonight. It's been very chill tonight, which is lovely.
Chill.
Thank you for coming on last minute. It's
No
just
worries.
feels like I'm living in a dream at the moment. So I had to suddenly go, ooh, a real life thing
I'll
to
always come on.
organise.
I mean, unless I'm asleep, I'm always available because
Oh,
I'll be in the chat anyway. So
thank you. As always, it's
I
been lovely
love
to
it.
chat.
I love these sprints.
Yeah, it's so nice, isn't it?
It
It's
is.
definitely become like a staple in my week.
It's
And when I'm
very
drafting, I
relaxed.
think I'm going to be doing lots next year because I want to draft something new. So
Exciting.
that will be really useful because I just find I get so many words down in the sprint compared with an evening left to my own devices. So yeah,
I
I'll be
love
doing it.
Thursdays. I
Yeah,
love Thursdays because I only work Monday to
yeah,
Thursday. So I finish on Thursday and I think, oh, okay, I finished work and then I can sit. It's the
yeah,
start of my reading for the weekend. It's kind of
yeah. I always like a
perfect.
Thursday. And Kasha's just saying she'll be doing more sprints next year as well. That's great to know.
I'm doing some on TikTok, on BookTok,
That's a good idea.
for my indie book club.
Hmm.
But I'm doing it on Wednesday nights. So I was trying to find. I don't want to miss this.
Yeah,
And then a lot of the point horror ones are on Saturdays and
mm,
Sundays. So I thought I'll do Wednesday night.
that's a good idea.
Yeah, once a month. Yeah, but they like
Lovely.
them shorter. There, they
Yeah.
can't cope with 40 minutes, Amy.
Oh, okay.
So they
Yeah, I
do 30
sometimes get
minutes.
people saying, "Why are you silent?" I'm like, "Because we're doing a reading spread."
I mean, the clues. It does run across the bottom
Yeah,
constantly.
it does.
Welcome.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm going to go and wrap up my Dreamlight Valley. We're watching World's Strongest Man 2, so I'm going to finish watching that.
I
And
love that.
it's so good, isn't it? We've got
It
about 10
is.
minutes left of an episode, so I'm going to go and finish that off and go to bed. So thank you as always for coming on. Thank you,
No
people
worries.
in the comments. It's been lovely. And hopefully we can all catch up in the next sprint.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye.